In this lesson, we are going to go ahead and utilize one of these Lifetouch brochures, seeing as how it's picture week, and replace these standard images of people that may or may not be real models with our own people. And so what you'll need to do is go ahead and get those pictures copied over to your thought space. They're in a folder entitled Lifetouch. And you'll want to then open the Lifetouch form and then pick from the pictures within Lifetouch there last year's school images. Once you have that opened in a fashion like this, first thing we need to do is rotate this Lifetouch brochure. You just come on over here to Image, Image Rotation, and so here we need to go counterclockwise 90 degrees. Move this thing, rotate it to the left. There we go. So what we'll learn how to do is to resize the image and then copy it over to our Lifetouch form. So you're going to need the Move tool, shortcut letter V. And then we're going to use the Move tool to move the image on top of this brochure. So you need to actually click within the image. Don't click up here on the ribbon. That just moves the entire image. We want to actually move the picture that's within this canvas here. So we're going to click in here somewhere. Click, hold, and then drag it on over. And then once you do that, notice that I can see these little transform controls here. If you don't see those, you need to make sure that this is selected. So you might look like this. You can still move it around, but you don't see the little controls. So you need to select Show Transform Controls. Now it's very important to understand how these transform controls work to use them correctly, because if you just come in and grab one of these and go, oh, I want to resize this picture, and you start doing this, then all of a sudden you're stretching it and the picture starts looking a little funny. That's not what we want to achieve. When something like this happens, you come on up here and click the not symbol, undo. The way you do want to use these transform controls is along with the Shift key. And when you hold the Shift key down and grab one of the corners, it does what we call constrain the proportions of height to width. So it makes the picture bigger or smaller, but doesn't change the proportion or the ratio of height to width, so the picture looks normal. So then we're going to want to replace that. So we're going to bring it over here and use the Lifetouch brochure picture as a guide here to see what size we want to make this. And so we might have to do some interesting tweaking on this. So I'm still maintaining that scale. So that fills it up right there. So I'm going to have to do some. Now there's a couple things we could do. We could use the eraser tool, or we could, if we want to get it really close and exact like that. Let me see what I got on this side here. So it looks like I got the width pretty good, the height. So maybe, let's see how bad it is. I could stretch it a little bit. I might be able to get away with that. That'd be the fastest way to do that particular one right there. And then once you do get it to the size that you want, you're going to go ahead and click the check mark to accept the transformation. Now, on this particular one, the one thing that I will have to do here is that we have this little picture, I don't know what that is, a plant or something there. So to make it look, it overlaps, and you got this little section here. So really, to make it look as original as possible, you need to use the eraser tool. So I want to show you that. So the eraser tool looks like that pink pearl. And just like we learned with the brushes, you can control the softness and the hardness and the size and the opacity. So remember, we use our brackets like so. And then the opacity, I'm going to start this pretty low, just erase a little bit at a time. So I might go down about 20%. And then the other thing that's real useful in using these types of techniques here is with this layer selected, see, here's our background here, which is the Lifetouch form. And then I added a layer by dragging that image on there. And so with this layer selected, we can adjust the opacity of the layer. So right now it's at 100%. And so you'll watch as I move this slider here. So you see the opacity of the image changing. And so that way I can see both of the images at the same time, and that will give me a little bit of a guideline of where I need to erase my top image so that the little plant there shows through and looks a little bit more like the original document that we're trying to tweak here a little bit by replacing the picture with one of our local Lifetouch pictures. So then I'll go to my eraser tool here, and I'm already set at like 22%, so I know that I want that plant to show, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of scrub through that a little bit. Let me see what we have so far. Okay, and then oh yeah, I've got this little white strip right down here, which is the pot of the plant. So there it is. So then I'll take my eraser and just come right down that a little bit, and then come back to 100%, see how we're looking. Okay, so now I have something I can work with here. So I'm just going to erase that a little bit more there. And then if you want to work a little faster, you can just crank this up so it's a little more aggressive on the erasing. There we go. A little rough there. You could zoom in and really work it, but you get the idea here of what we're trying to achieve. Bring out that plant a little bit more. And then we zoom out, and there you have it. Replacement achieved. So go ahead and do that and see if you can replace a few of these also. And give you some good practice with the eraser tool, adjusting the opacity on the layer, and then of course practicing with the brush settings of opacity, brush size, and the softness of the brush.